What's up, guys? Welcome to the second episode of the MMA X Factor. I'm your host, Notorious Pigs. For this week, I decided to focus on one matchup, which is happening this weekend on UFC Liverpool. Originally, I wanted to break down Darren Till versus Wonderboy, but honestly, in the last few days, I've been really diving deep on that, and I honestly can't figure out my read. Um, it's kind of like a case of head versus heart. I think my head says Wonder Boy and my heart says Till. Um, so I decided to just you know watch it as a fan. I have one parlay actually dating back to 223, and I only have Darren Till left. Uh, I have I believe quarter unit on it to win like 7.5 units. So I might hedge, I might not. I haven't decided. I think the odds will get better on Wonderboy, so I'm anticipating a little bit of steamage this week until fighting at home. Hometowners like to get steamed, especially a guy like Till with that much confidence and the whole town behind him. So I'm gonna wait to see if I want to hedge or not. But I decided to break down a different matchup, and that is Jason Knight versus Amirkhani. Um, I believe it's a very interesting fight. I think initially I didn't want to touch it, and I got burned twice in a row by Knight, and I kind of had a little bit of a bitter taste. But then, upon really researching this fight, I realized that this is a very good spot for him, in my opinion, and I'm gonna break it down why. But I'm also gonna give you guys a different side of things, and if Amirkhani were to win, I'm gonna give you guys my opinion how he gets it done. So I'm gonna try to cover every angle that I can for this fight. So let's start with the first X factor that this fight has, and that is Amirkhani's wrestling. He's a pretty good wrestler. He's been wrestling since I believe he was 4 years old. He has a Greco-Roman and freestyle background in wrestling. He won some tournaments in Finland. So he's got pretty good takedowns, and we've seen that in the UFC. I'm actually pretty impressed with his entries, and he finishes his takedowns pretty well, especially early in a fight. Um, like for example, in Wilkinson fight, um, he got him down pretty early. Got to side control, and um, I was actually surprised that he made a mistake of getting overzealous. He tried to take mount pretty quickly, and Wilkinson was able to regain guard. Then Amirkhani passed a few times to side control. He even got mount at one point, but then I think he makes a mistake of not staying heavy enough with his hips, and he gives his opponents opportunities to create space, to shrimp, or to potentially set something up off of their back. Well, in Wilkinson fight, I don't think Wilkinson has any guard game, and he looked to be pretty content, just to close guard and kind of see what happens. And Amirkhani, he's not really that great at setting up multiple things. He likes to get to side control, but I don't really see many sub attempts from there. He looks more for ground and pound, which I don't really find that effective. I mean, from him, it can be effective if it's done right, but he kind of throws, sloppy punches there. Um, so that's something that I've noticed. But if we're talking about this fight, it's not going to be the same. Knight on his back and Wilkinson on his back is just two different things. And let's just transition to the second X factor with that being said, and that is Knight's BJJ game, especially off of his back. I'm really impressed with his rubber guard. Really, as soon as it hits the mat, that's what he looks to do. And that he was very successful at doing that against Lamas and Chas Skelly. he gave a lot of problems to Lamas and Chaz Kelly from the bottom, especially to Chaz. Both Lamas and Chaz are actually pretty good wrestlers, and I think especially Lamas, he's definitely a better wrestler than Amirkhani, and I think that Chaz, might be better as well. And they had, a lot of trouble, implementing their game when they're on top, and especially Chaz, he had to really be careful because Knight was transitioning from rubber guard to omoplata, then he transitioned to gogoplata, then he even hit crucifix, and man, he just like continuously kept Chaz guessing, and he never really got comfortable being on top. And then he also hitting him with some nice elbows from the bottom, and so I think they spent a few minutes there, then got back to their feet. Then the rest of the round, that was the first round, played out on the feet. In the second round, Knight really started to put it on Chaz on the feet. He was lighting him up, and only halfway through the round, Chaz decided to shoot after getting stunned with punches, and Knight easily defended. That shows me that Chaz, after that first round, he didn't want to go to the ground. He knew that, man, that's not a good space to be, but at the same time, he was getting lit up on the feet, so he had to pick his poison, really. And, I mean, he decided to shoot halfway through after getting stunned. He wasn't able to finish the takedown. And, after that, it was pretty much all downhill. And then in the third round, right in the beginning, Knight cracked him with a beautiful step-in uppercut, which put him on his butt, and then he finished him. The fight could have been stopped like 8 punches earlier. I don't know what the ref was doing, but it was a great killer instinct by Knight, and that's what I love seeing from him. And then let's talk about the next X factor, and I think that's the Knight's Muay Thai. I think he is miles better than Amirkhani on the feet. If it stays on the feet and Amirkhani can't take him down, he's gonna feel the punches and kicks and everything. Amirkhani doesn't have any good striking. In that fight that he KO'd dude in 8 seconds with a flying knee and punches, I mean, that's not gonna happen here. He looked for the same flying knee against Allen. Allen just moved away, and then Allen was picking his shots on the feet, and Amirkhani hadn't he had no success there. And Allen is not like Knight. Knight is even better striker. People just think that because he lost to Gabriel Benitez and Lamas on the feet that Knight is not that good. Well, first of all, Lamas is a top 10 talent. He was a top 5 not too long ago. The guy's really good. And I think Gabriel Benitez, he's a very good fighter as well. I think he might crack top 15 in the year or so. That division is pretty stacked, especially, I think the top 5 or so and the rest of the guys in top 15, there's a little bit of a gap, which usually happens in a lot of divisions. But then from, like top 6 to top 20, 25, man, there's a lot of good fighters, and Gabriel Benitez is in that range. And I think Knight as well, and I don't think Amirkhani is. So, with that being said, yeah, like I said, I don't see a contest on the feet. If it stays there, he's gonna beat him up. He beat a good striker in Hooker, and we've seen Hooker just, go through guys at lightweight like nothing in the last 3 fights. He's been on the tear, and he beat him. It was a great fight. Kind of towards the end of the fight, Knight gassed a bit, and Hooker was coming forward and throwing some good shots, but Knight definitely won that fight, with the ground control and striking in the first 2 rounds. Actually, he almost finished Hooker, who's never been finished on the ground with the rear naked choke. It was super, super close, but Hooker was able to survive. So that's something to remember, I don't think that Amirkhani has ever faced the level of competition that Knight has. And that's something that I want to mention with the next X Factor. Kind of jump to it really quick. But So yeah, the next one is the level of competition faced, and really there's no comparison. All the guys that Amirkhani beat in the UFC, none of those guys are in the UFC anymore, and some of them are even retired. The guy he's lost to, Allen, super close fight. He's fighting on this card, but that's the guy he lost. But the guys he beat, none of them are in the UFC, like I said, and those guys were never even close to being top guys. And if we look at the last 5 fights from Jason Knight, he fought, like I've mentioned, Hooker. He fought Caceres. He fought Chas Skelly. He fought Lamas, and he fought Benitez. I think all 5 of those guys are top 25 talents. Maybe Caceres is a little bit outside of that, but I think that the rest of them are, like elite level competition. And especially, that Lamas fight, they were really trying to push Knight to that next level, after that Chas Skelly victory. He had, I believe, 3 victories in a row. And I think that was a bit too fast of a step up, and it proved that it proved to be that it was a little bit too fast for that fight. It came to him, but even in that fight, he had some good work off his back. Lamas never got comfortable, but Knight made a mistake when he was getting back to his feet. He didn't have his guard up, and he got cracked with the right hand, and really the fight went downhill from there. And he was hurt, and Lamas just kept hurting him more and more. But Knight was pretty tough. He showed some that Mississippi toughness, and it took quite a bit from Lamas to finish him. And then Gabriel Benitez, in that fight, Knight never was able to get his rhythm on the feet. Right in the beginning of the fight, he got point taken away for biting, and I think that kind of messed him up as well. And I believe I've heard someone say that he was on antibiotics and he said that that's why he gassed after the first round. I tend to believe him because I've seen Knight go, pretty hard for like 3 rounds. Only in the Hooker fight towards the end he was getting pretty tired, but that was a high-paced fight, and Hooker is really, really good, like I said, and I'm sure you guys are aware. So I think that level of competition is going to prove to be important. I think those losses will make Knight better. 2 ass whoopings in a row are not going to break Hick Diaz. He's still 25 years old. The guy is tough. He's got heart. He's got his back is against the wall. He lost 2 in a row. You never want to lose 3 in a row in the UFC, even though I don't think they would cut him, but you don't want to find out. So he's going to come with urgency, and he's going to be looking to hurt Amirkhani. So I like the spot, I really do. And also the last X factor that I want to mention is, chin. And I think Knight definitely has an advantage there. Man, he gets cracked with some good shots, and he's able to stay in the fight. He got put away by Lamas, but man, Lamas throws hard, and it took a lot of shots to put him away. It wasn't like 2-3 shots and Knight was down. No, man, it was it took him like a minute and a half or so to put him away. So that's shows toughness. And then Amirkhani, I've seen him get clipped pretty good by Allen, and he got lucky that it was the end of the round, and I think he was a little stunned. But really, he hasn't really been tested, and I think Jason Knight is definitely going to be the toughest striker he's ever fought, might be the hardest puncher he's ever fought, and, he's going to find that opening, and I don't know if Amirkhani chin can hold up, and his striking defense is so terrible that it's going to find, there's going to be an opening that Knight will exploit. I really do think so. So with that being said, let me give you guys a few suggestions on the bets that I like for this fight. First one, I like Knight straight. I got him at negative 150 last night. He even got to negative 135. I wish I was a little patient, but I really thought that there was value, and I was kind of surprised that the line was going towards Knight getting better lines. So I was like, what's going on? Like, why are people on Amirkhani? But it is what it is. So I got 5 units at negative 150. I really like the value here. I think the opening line was closer to what it should have been, and was like negative 230. I think that's way more right than negative 150. But I'll take the negative 150 and say thank you, bookies. I'll also be looking to play Jason Knight inside the distance. I think that he's going to have opportunities not only on the feet but also on the ground. I've seen Amirkhani almost get choked out by Wilkinson when he shot a bad takedown and got himself into a guillotine. And someone like Knight, I think they would be able to finish it way better than Wilkinson. And also, just like the way Amirkhani stays in the guard and keeps his head low to the chest, that rubber guard is going to be there. And from there, we shall see what Knight decides to do. But I think the openings will present themselves. And I won't be surprised if he chokes him with a go-go plata or even triangle, or, really whatever he finds at the moment. But at the same time, I can totally see him KOing him on the feet. If Amirkhani is not successful with the takedowns and he shoots, in a predictable manner, Knight can stuff him, and on the feet, it's going to be a long night. So I can totally see that scenario. That's why I don't want to guess whether it's going to be sub or KO. It's kind of similar to last weekend, the fight that I wanted to break down, Luque and Laprise. I took inside the distance on Luque because I could see KO or sub, because he's good at both, and the same thing goes for Knight. So just play inside the distance when that kind of thing is present. So, but I also want to play devil's advocate, and let's say you guys think that Amirkhani gets it done. I would take a shot at Amirkhani by decision. I don't think he's going to finish Knight. He's definitely not going to TKO him. And submission, I don't think so. Knight is a brown belt, and Amirkhani's not that great at submissions. He took, who's that guy, Mexican guy that he beat? Well, he took him down and got back, and he was trying to choke him with one hook in, and he almost did. And the guy just looked, like fish out of water. He didn't know how to defend. He didn't know really what to do. Like, he wasn't in, like, he was fighting hands for a bit, and then not enough. Knight is not going to give his back to Amirkhani, or if he does, I think he's going to reverse positions and get out of there and impose his game. So, but like I said, if you guys think that Amirkhani gets it done, I would take a shot at Amirkhani by decision. That's really the only way I think he can get it done. And he would need to win 2 rounds with takedowns. I mean, on the feet, he's not winning. So that was going to be his game plan. But that rubber guard might be so problematic, he's not going to be able to really do his thing, and Knight might submit him. So that's my thoughts. I wish the prop lines were up. So give you guys the line, but it's only Tuesday, so they haven't dropped yet. But just look out for those. And if you guys feel strongly either way, don't hesitate to pull the trigger. So, all right, this is it for the second episode. Let me know what you guys think. And I hope you guys catch your best this weekend and enjoy the hostilities.